Would this have happened if Kamala Harris was not outlining her economic proposal tomorrow?
Yes, maybe, because many Republicans think that this is the best line of attack to go after Democrats on. Many Democrats think that, too. I mean, for months, Democrats have been almost begging Joe Biden to talk more about this. Bob Casey jumps to mind as a Democrat who's been campaigning in a swing state about this issue. Mm-hmm. And across many Western democracies, incumbents have been dropping like flies because of voter outrage over grocery prices. And many of those things are true. I have a baby. I can tell you how expensive formula is. Thankfully, she's on milk now. Thank God.
There's milk out.
Right, exactly. Right. Too, but still, you're better off. You're better off. So I think right now this is a potent attack for him. And the big question with Trump always is, does he stay on message or not? And this event so far, from what we've been hearing, it sounds, there's like reading the teleprompter of Trump, and that's what we're getting a lot of today, him reading these attacks. And then there's riffing Trump, and that's when he sort of veers into other places, and he's always more comfortable there. And the tension for the aides working for him is always, how do you blend the two? How do you capture the sort of energy where Trump wants to go while trying to keep him disciplined? And so we'll see how it goes tonight. But right now, every day that they make this election a referendum on inflation, it's a good day for Republicans. Mm-hmm. Every day Trump is going in other directions, that's when you see Democrats celebrating, like they did his last press conference, when he really sort of, takes an off-ramp and goes into other places.
Well, and it's notable that we're seeing Donald Trump do this today with the grocery store in tow, one day ahead of an economic policy speech that Vice President Harris is planning in North Carolina, in which we understand she is planning to focus on grocery prices and specifically price gouging on the part of corporations. Is a little bit of thunder being stolen here, Akayla?
Yeah, I think it's not by accident we saw him using these groceries as prices. We're going to hear our first glimpse into Harris's economic policy tomorrow, where she plans to unveil this plan to do a federal ban on price gouging, specifically on groceries. It's kind of unclear how she would do that. It seems like it would require legislation, but she's certainly signaling here that she's aware that voters are concerned about the economy, and groceries is certainly something that voters see every single week. It's something that's top of mind for them, and she's certainly targeting that here.
Well, we heard this idea come up actually at an event today. It was the big reunion. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris on stage together for the first time since the president dropped out of the race. And part of the idea was to highlight work done in lowering prices, and namely drug prices today. Deals with drug manufacturers to lower prices for senior citizens by as much as 79%. Let's listen.
I'm proud to announce that Medicare has reached agreement with all manufacturers on all 10 drugs selected in the first round of negotiations. The new lower prices for all 10 drugs will go into effect in January of 2026. Not this January, next January.
This was just outside of the capital, Josh, in Prince George's County, Maryland. Very friendly crowd. They seem to have been carefully warmed up with the call and response that we witnessed a couple of times. But for them to be together like this, the day before Kamala Harris has to prove that she's got something different to offer, presents quite a balancing act for her.
Yeah, this is how he is trying to help her. Part of it is staying out of the limelight, and part of it is rolling out the stuff that he wanted to run on himself, and they want to run on it because, generally speaking, it's popular. Democrats would love to campaign on cheaper drug prices up and down the court, and this is one of those things that they've been fighting for decades, to be able to get. So this was one of those days in the Biden administration that the people that have been working in it since day one will sort of remember in their memoirs. They thought this was just such a seismic change that they were able to get through. And Harris really is campaigning on, like, sort of, you might call it Biden plus, or, it's like she's building on the Biden record rather than throwing out the playbook and starting anew. In particular, our reporting is that she really isn't starting a lot from what her own proposals had been in 2019 or before that when she was a senator, and then when she ran, of course, for the nomination that Joe Biden won. So right now, she's trying to have her cake and eat it too, and probably can a little bit because polls show that she's not getting as much blame for inflation and other issues. So Biden is helping her by teeing up these issues. She can now go out tomorrow and say, look at the action we got on prices, drug prices. This is a big deal. We want to do more. For instance, expanding the cap on insulin costs at $35 a month to everyone right now. That's sort of a narrower cap with voluntary cooperation for other groups. Expanding the cap on drug price, out-of-pocket drug costs, and potentially expanding the list of negotiated drugs. So she wants his help, but she also wants to stake her own way, and that's the balancing act that they're trying.
Well, as he helps her tee up the issues, he also just helped hype her up today, and she did some hyping up of her own in return. Just take a listen to some of the language we got from the current vice president and president as they appeared together.
I could speak all afternoon about the person that I am standing on this stage with. Our extraordinary President Joe Biden.
I have an incredible partner. The progress we've made, she's going to make one hell of a president.
So, Kailey, while today was about policy, and as Josh alludes to, policy that Biden has been trying to achieve for a very long time, this also was about a moment in which we see an incumbent president who made the decision not to seek re-election, who has to hand the reins to his vice president, a literal passing of the baton, as we saw them on stage together for the first time since he made that momentous decision.
Yeah, it was certainly a moment of unity there, but I think it was interesting that Harris spoke before Biden, even though she is still the person who is running for president. So she still has to do this awkward dance. And I think even when he is not in the room, she has regularly praised him and talked about his service. But she still has to define herself separately from him. And I think we're starting to hear her talk about her time in the Senate, her time as Attorney General, going after corporate banks, targeting for-profit colleges. So she's trying to still create this own lane that is separate and apart from Biden, while also still acknowledging those voters who wanted him to run, who wanted him to stay in the race. And I think that's why we're really seeing this effort really to show respect for Biden and his legacy.
That to be an emotional moment for him. I mean, this is an actual White House event, I believe, but it felt a lot like campaign rally. He's going to have the big speech on Monday, but from now on, it's no longer about him. He's going to be trying to help Kamala Harris get elected.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he endorsed her, and I think that was a huge part, and that will play out in his legacy, is him clearly setting up this field for her.
I think there's hints that he's still having what-if moments.
Interesting.
Today, talking about, now I'm, quote, too damn old, when he talked about being too young to take a seat in the Senate when he was elected at 29. Yesterday, lecturing the press on why they weren't writing about the economy in a more positive way. It feels like he's still running through his mind about how did I get here? But he's not giving a hint.
In that crowd?
He's not giving a hint of daylight or subterfuge or anything with Harris. So he's steadfast supporting her. You just see these moments of him wondering aloud what might have been, I think.